Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, December 28th, and you are watching or listening to episode number 6 of the Ben Caplan Show. I am Ben Caplan, and this is my brand new Philly sports talk show. I do it every day here live on TikTok and then post my replays to my YouTube channel. So please make sure you're following me here, and you'll hit the link in my bio and subscribing to that YouTube channel. And thank you for being here. I appreciate all the listeners I've had so far. As I like to say, this is a really small rocket ship right now, but we're taking it to the moon, and I appreciate you being a part of it. I woke up this morning, and I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to talk about on the show today, but then, like I always do, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw TikTok had a really interesting post, ESPN had a really interesting post on TikTok today. And they listed the Eagles as the number one most frustrating team in the NFL. Bill Barnwell said, "The problem, a fan base with lofty expectations and a roster with meaningful flaws," to something else that TikTok symbol's taken over. But basically, the problem, a fan base with lofty expectations and a roster with meaningful flaws interacts to toxic behavior. So I guess it's toxic right now in Philadelphia, which makes kind of sense because there isn't a lot of joy when it comes to watching the Eagles lately. But anyway, so that really got me thinking, why are the Eagles so frustrated? Why is there no joy in watching them this year? What is going on? What are the reasons? So before I knew it, I had a list together, and I was putting together an entire outline of why the Eagles have been so frustrating this season. So I'm going to go through that today, and that's going to be this show. So if you agree, if you disagree, let me know in the comments, and let me know why. But I think most people are going to agree with my list on why the Eagles have been so frustrating this year in 2023. So there's a lot to go over on that. Again, if you're just joining me, this is the Ben Caplan Show, episode number 6. I appreciate you all being here, so please make sure you follow me and go subscribe to my YouTube channel. That being said, let's dive right into at least my reasons why the Eagles have been so frustrating this year. And this is in no particular order. These aren't ranked. These are just my overall thoughts when I had them pop in my mind. So first I got high expectations. Obviously, when you go to the Super Bowl, whether you win it or you lose it, the year after, you're going to have some pretty high expectations of what you expect the team to do. I mean, if you're the Super Bowl winner, there's really only one place to go, and that's down. And if you're the Super Bowl loser, there's only one better place to get to, and that's winning the Super Bowl. And both really hard things to do. But that being said, it's gotten to a point where the only way I think anybody can enjoy this Eagle season is if they minimally get back to the Super Bowl and then win the Super Bowl, which is not a great attitude to have because it causes just really frustration and anger when watching the Eagles. The chat's going off. Hey, Caitlin, how's it going? Hey to everyone else who is joining. Thank you, everyone who is joining the Ben Caplan Show tonight. We're talking about the reasons the Eagles are so frustrating this year in 2023. And really, I'm starting off with high expectations. We all have that Super Bowl or bust mentality. And again, there's only one way this year can be better than last year, and that's if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, which isn't just incredibly hard to do at any point, at any time for a franchise. And realistically, well, I should say we're not really being realistic as football fans, as Eagles fans, to think the Eagles are going to get back to the Super Bowl. And what I mean by that is there have been 57 Super Bowl losers in the history of the NFL. The loser of the Super Bowl has only gone back to the Super Bowl the following season 8 separate times in the history of the NFL. That's 14%. Those are not good odds. Bonus points if anybody can name the 8 times the Super Bowl loser got back. I'll go over that list in a little bit. But the point is, it is extremely rare for a team to even get back to the Super Bowl after losing it. It basically doesn't happen. I don't say it doesn't happen. It's happened, but it's really, really rare, and you can't count on it, and the odds are not in our favor there. So to have that Super Bowl or bust mentality is pretty detrimental. We got some people going off in the chat. Let's see. The Bills are 4. Well, the Bills are actually three times they went back after losing. So that's 3 of 8. We have the Patriots. That's also right. The Patriots did in 2018. They won the Super Bowl the year after they lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So that might be still fresh on people's minds as well, because people might say, hey, the Patriots did it, but the Patriots had Tom Brady. The other teams, what's this? Again, the Sixers committed fraud with the process. I will love on an 11-4 team. I think that's a different topic for a different day. Kansas City yes. No, I don't think Kansas City is actually one of them. So the only 8 times it has ever happened in NFL history that the Super Bowl loser has gone back to the Super Bowl the following year was 1971, the Cowboys, 72, the Dolphins, 73, the Vikings, 87, the Broncos, 91 through 93, as we all know, the Bills, and 2018, the Patriots. So 14% of the time the loser has gone back. So again, I'm trying to make the point is maybe we should have tempered our expectations going into the season. But you know what? Hey, we're Eagles fans. We're Super Bowl or bust. We didn't do that. So here we are. It's okay though. It's okay that we didn't, because it's no fun to really temper your expectations of your team, right? You want to believe your team can win the Super Bowl every year. So we will believe nothing less in this town. So high expectations is the first, I think, reason for why the Eagles have been so frustrating this year, because just we see and we see the talent they have with these expectations. It's not just, oh, they were there last year, they're going to go back, but like they still have, their offense is still powerful. They still have Jalen Hurts. Their defense is a lot different. Don't get me wrong, but so we thought enough. I think we all thought enough were coming back from last season's team to really have those expectations that they can get back to the Super Bowl. Hey, Anthony, how you doing? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Appreciate everyone who's watching so far. Oh, Anthony sent me a rose. That was so nice. Thank you. If anyone else wants to send me a gift or a rose, please do. I'd gladly accept it. All right. So high expectations. That's reason one why the Eagles have been so frustrating this year. Reason number 2. The Eagles' wins have not been convincing at all. Yes, the Eagles have 11 wins on the season, but every single one of those wins, I feel like there's a yeah, but attached to it. So give me 1 second here, because I want to go through these. I want to go through these games and just see, like, let me share my screen. I'm using StatMuse, by the way. If you're a stat nerd, love looking stuff up, use StatMuse. It is quickly becoming my favorite website. I mean, I love the reference websites like Baseball Reference, Pro Football Reference, but StatMuse is pretty great. So I'd say check it out. I hope one day they can pay me to say that. Here we go. All right, so got the Eagles scheduled right here. Week 1, they make Mac Jones look like an MVP candidate quarterback. The Eagles win 25-20. Not great. Then week 2, home opener, a Thursday night, they beat the Vikings 34-28. Again, not super convincing. I believe Kirk Cousins went crazy in that game. Let's see here. Team stats. Passing yards. Yeah, Kirk Cousins threw for 346 passing yards. How many touchdowns did he have? It does not say here. I don't know. But anyway, he threw for a lot of yards. And it was a high-scoring game. So, again, not the most convincing win in the world. Got a comment here. The coaching has been bad this year. That's why the Eagles are frustrating. Actually, I will be getting to that in just a little bit. Trust me. But, yeah, the play calling has been very sus, as the kids like to say. I am sorry. I'm coming through like a ghost right now for those watching me here on TikTok. I'm going to try to get that fixed. I don't know how, but hopefully I will be able to fix it. Oh, there we go. All right. So week 3, they beat Tampa Bay 25-11. That's probably honestly the most convincing win of the entire season, beating the Bucs 25-11 in week 3. So all right, we got a good win there. But then Washington, they win in overtime 34-31. Sam Howell looks like the greatest quarterback in the world. Then they go to the Rams, beat them 23-14. Again, a good win, solid win, not dominating. Then a really bad loss to the Jets. I had the pleasure of being at that game at MetLife Stadium, and it was just cold and miserable and turnover city for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. And the play calling was really sus, as the kids like to say, in that game too. Um, so bad loss there, but hey, they bounced back. They beat Miami, but Miami dropped a lot of passes that game. I remember, and there was always like, yeah, well, if Tyreek didn't drop that pass, if this didn't happen, it was one of those games. Um, they did win by 2 touchdowns. I thought it was convincing at the time, but maybe I was wrong. Followed that up again, Washington. This score is actually closer than it looks because Washington got a touchdown late at the end of the game. But again, Sam Howell looked incredible in this game. Let's see here. Let's look at the player stats. For the Commanders. Yeah, Sam Howell threw for 397 yards and 4 touchdowns that game. Sam Howell. Sam freaking Howell. Are you kidding me? So, again, not a great game for the Eagles to give you like the most amount of confidence going forward. Then they beat Dallas. The Eagles played so good in that game up until the fourth quarter. The Cowboys really dominated play in the fourth quarter, but hey, the Eagles held on for a tough division win. And they won. It wasn't dominant. But again, the talk after that game was, if everybody remembers, was, yeah, the Eagles won, but, Dak looked really good. If he didn't just step out of bounds, if the tight end would have gotten one more inch in the end zone, I didn't listen to it at the time, but maybe we should have. I don't know. But then they go to Kansas City. Again, they win a tough road game, but there was that drop pass by the Chiefs towards the end of the game. So there's that. They win a shootout against Buffalo, which seemed honestly to take like everything out of them at that time. They were toast. Because then, the back-to-back losses come. They get smoked by the 49ers. They get smoked by Dallas. They lose a terrible game. They let Drew Lock drive down the freaking field 92 yards at the end of the game to lose to the Seahawks. I'm still not over that one. But hey, then on Christmas, it's a Christmas miracle. They snap that losing streak, and but still they barely won. So in a game, the defense really played actually pretty well, but none of these wins have been convincing. There's always like I said, there's always a yeah but attached to the Eagles this season with every game that they're playing in. So again, I think another reason why they've been so frustrating this year, because the Cowboys, the 49ers, even the Lions, they have wins where they're just dominating teams, where they're controlling the game from start to finish. And I don't think the Eagles have had a complete game yet where they've really just got off to a fast start, controlled the play, and made separation in terms of the score late and never let a team come back into it. It's always come down to the end, it seems, for the last couple possessions. And I don't know. I don't think the Eagles have really proved they can put a team away yet. I think that's fair. Here we go. We got some comments. The Jets loss was painful. Yeah, the Jets loss was very painful. I was at that game. It sucked. But anyway, that is reason 2. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining. This is the Ben Caplan Show. This is my weekday daily talk show about Philly sports. This is episode number 6. I do them live every day here on TikTok, and I post my reruns to my YouTube channel. So please make sure you follow me here on TikTok, and then you click the link in my bio and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all my episodes. Got a comment, nice shirt. Thank you. I love this shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts. If you're just joining us, we're going over reasons today why the 2023 Eagles have been so frustrating. The ESPN put out a list on TikTok and ranking the most frustrating teams in the NFL this year, and they had the Eagles as number 1. So that got me thinking, why have they been so frustrating? I was like, because I agree, the Eagles have been incredibly frustrating despite being 11-4. My first thought was high expectations. We had incredibly high expectations this year. The only thing that could satisfy Eagles fans this season would be winning the Super Bowl. And that's incredibly hard. It's only happened 14% in the history of the NFL, where the losing Super Bowl team has gone back to the Super Bowl the following year. So it basically doesn't happen. I'm not going to say never, but it's very rare. So it's something you can't really count on, and the odds are definitely against you. So reason number 1 was the high expectations, and maybe our expectations were a little too high. Reason number 2, their wins haven't been convincing. I just went through their schedule, went over the wins and losses, and the games the Eagles have won. Yeah, they've won, but it's always come down, it seems like, to the last couple of possessions. They're letting teams hang around. They have a really difficult time getting a lead and then just keeping separation or creating even more separation and then putting a game away. Like, I feel 2 weeks in a row, the Eagles had an opportunity to put a game away by getting a first down. And 2 weeks in a row, they failed at that. And it cost them that game against the Seahawks. They were able to hold on against the Giants, but it just could have easily just as gone, it just could have gone just as wrong just as easily in that Giants game. So this team has got to figure out a way how to put another team away. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, A, because there's only 2 games left in the regular season, and B, because the games they have left are against the Cardinals and the Giants. So they're weak teams, and I don't know if that's going to be convincing enough to people if they're able to put those teams away. I mean, it'd be nice to see. You kind of expect it, but I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, love the show. Thank you. That was a very nice comment by a user who has a very long username and with a bunch of numbers. So high expectations, wins aren't that convincing are the first 2 reasons. The third reason, really bad losses. The Eagles have lost 4 games. 2 of them I feel were winnable, should have won, had blew fourth quarter leads, and 2 were just absolute blowouts and embarrassments. The first game against the Jets, turnover city for Jalen Hurts. And even the play calling at the end, the Eagles really had a chance to, they had to get a first down in that game. They could have pulled it away, but what happened? Jalen Hurts threw an interception and the Jets scored a touchdown and ended up winning the game late because they couldn't get a first down, because they couldn't put a team away. So it's proven to be a problem all year long. The second, I'm going to go over the bad losses and the brutal losses. The loss to Seattle. They had, if the Eagles could get a first down on their last possession, game over. But no, the offense can't finish. They're not finishing drives. So what happens? They punt it away, and then Drew freaking Lock drives 92 yards down the field to win the game for the Seahawks because the Eagles couldn't get a first down. Then it happened again the following week. All the Eagles need to do is get a first down, and the game is over, and the Eagles couldn't get a first down. They gave the Giants a chance to tie the game at the end. Defense held on. I'm glad they did. But a win against Tyrod Taylor and the New York Football Giants shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be that hard. They should have been able to put that team away, and they're not doing it. And I think it's like the Phillies this year with their bullpen. They had such a hard time closing out games, and the bullpen let them down time after time after time, and that turned out to hurt them in the playoffs. So this is something that can hurt the Eagles going forward into the playoffs. Not being able to put teams away at the end of games is going to hurt you come playoff time. If the Eagles aren't able to finish games and put a team away with either scoring a touchdown late or getting a first down late to ice the game, it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them big time in the playoffs, and I don't want to see that happen. But anyway, I digress. It's one of those things, it hasn't been such a big deal throughout the earlier part of the season because they were still finding ways to win despite not being able to put teams away. But it's really been costing them the past few weeks, and it is a major problem. One of many I feel like this Eagles team has. Got a comment here from Sad Phillies fan. Oh, yeah, we're all sad Phillies fans. When you're done, can you talk about what you think about the Phillies next year? Yeah, I can talk a little Phillies after this when I'm done going through this list. Love talking about the Phillies. If you're just joining me, I'm going through the reasons I believe the 2023 Eagles have been so frustrating this year. The first reason was high expectations. We all had astronomically high expectations for the Eagles. It's Super Bowl or bust. And I think the only way most Eagles fans will be satisfied this season is if the Eagles win the Super Bowl. And that is so incredibly hard to do in any season, but especially the year after you go to the Super Bowl. It's only happened 8 times in the history of the NFL. That's 14%. It's only happened 14% of the time where the Super Bowl loser has gone back to the Super Bowl the following year. So it's really hard to count on something like that. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, the wins aren't convincing. The Eagles have a lot of wins, yeah, but they haven't been able to put teams away like they did last year or years in the past. They're not gaining separation. They're letting teams hang around until the end, and it's burned them a few times. They don't have the ability to get a first down to win a game. So that's really hurt them. Reason number three, really bad losses. Yeah, we got blown out against the 49ers and the Cowboys, and it really made everybody reevaluate how we're supposed to look at the Eagles for this year. But even the loss against the Jets, that was brutal. The Eagles had a chance to put the game away in the fourth quarter despite all the turnovers by getting a first down, and they couldn't do it. Jalen Hurts threw an interception at the end of the game. Jets scored a touchdown late. They won the game. Again with the Seahawks, that loss, brutal. The Eagles had a chance to put the game away by getting a first down, and they couldn't do it. So what happens? They have to punt, and then they let Drew freaking Lock drive 92 yards down the field to win the game for the Seahawks. So having a lot of problems putting games away. And those are really bad losses, really, really bad losses and they were winnable games. The next point is back to Jalen Hurts, is his turnovers. He is a turnover machine this year. He had 8 turnovers all of last season. I think it was 6 interceptions and 2 fumbles. That's it, the entire season. So far, and we still have 2 games left in the regular season, he's thrown 13 interceptions and he's fumbled the ball 5 times. 5 fumbles for losses. That's a problem. Generally speaking, it's the team who wins the turnover battle wins the game. I should probably look that up actually, but more time than not, I don't know the exact number, but I know more times than not, the team that wins the turnover battle in the game is going to win the game. And that's how the Eagles won a lot of games last year. But you know what? They're not turning the ball over. And Jalen Hurts is turning the ball over at an alarming rate. So it's kind of the opposite of last year's defense. And it's really kind of worst case scenario because it's bad enough that they're not causing turnovers, but when you're giving teams extra chances, letting them hang in games, it's even worse. It's even worse. So I don't know why Jalen Hurts has had so many turnovers this year compared to last year. I'm just completely guessing. I'm just completely speculating here. Is Jalen Hurts not seeing defenses as well this season? Or defenses doing a better job of disguising themselves to Jalen Hurts? Is Jalen Hurts trying to be a hero too much? Is Jalen Hurts trying to make too much happen when he's behind the line of scrimmage? I don't know exactly what it is, but all I know is I hope he is able to work on it. It's fixable. Maybe hopefully it's something mechanical. I don't know, but if he can't fix the turnovers for this year, that's one of those things that dooms you in the postseason. Turning the ball over will end your season effectively if you keep giving the other team the ball, especially in the playoffs. So again, another reason why this Eagles team has been so frustrating this year. I feel like I'm on fire tonight. No, I feel like it might be a little bit of a rant than usual. It's just the Eagles are frustrating. I think everyone can agree. All Eagles fans can agree that the Eagles have been very frustrating this year. But I was wondering why, so I put a list together. So anyway, if you're just joining me, thank you for joining. This is the Ben Caplan Show. I do the show live every weekday here on TikTok, and I post my replays to my YouTube channel. So please make sure you like this video, you follow me here on TikTok, and you click that link in my bio to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of my new episodes and videos. Also, while I'm at it, since we are a new show, I am looking for guests. So if you're ever interested in talking Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Union, whatever, pro wrestling, I love WWE, shoot me an email to thebencaplan@gmail.com. Let me know what you want to talk about, and we'll see what we can do. All right. If you're just joining me, I'm going through the reasons that the Eagles have been so frustrating this year. I feel like no one's disagreed with anything I've said yet. So I think my list is pretty good. So far, we have the high expectations. We have that their wins aren't convincing. Their losses have been really bad. And then we just went over Jalen Hurts has been turning the ball over. He's been a turnover machine this year. It's not good. Jalen Hurts actually, he's going to have more passing yards this year than he did last year. I know he also has the rushing. He broke the quarterback rushing touchdown for a season, so that's good. But his passer rating has dropped. Last year, Jalen Hurts had a passer rating of 101.5. This year, it's down to 89.6. So, I don't know what it is, but it seems to me like there's some things he needs to improve on. I think he can. Everyone says he's got that dog in him. I believe him. I believe them. I think he's the type of guy that works really hard and will, whatever's wrong, we'll figure it out eventually. But I don't know if there's enough time this season. We'll see. We will see. So then we got, as the reason the Eagles have been so frustrating this year, I have the offensive play calling. And I guess that really just means Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator. Now, I know I'm not alone in this. It took me a while to come around on the I don't like Brian Johnson train because I just thought, he's a new offensive coordinator. Maybe we're not being fair to him. Let's see what this guy's got. But I can't stand watching any more games where there's 5 to 10 wide receiver screens. There's 10 Jalen Hurts runs up the middle. There's just poorly timed run calls, poorly timed, deep balls. It's maddening. And on top of that, I think he's become so predictable. Like I was talking earlier about how the Eagles haven't been able to finish games. 3 times they've had a chance to win a game by getting a first down this season, and 3 times they failed at doing that. And I think I think part of the reason is because Brian Johnson's play calling is so predictable and teams know what's coming. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. I know the Eagles, they already changed one play. They changed the defensive play caller. For all intents and purposes, Matt Patricia is the defensive coordinator now. I doubt they're going to make another coordinator change at this point of the season. So it is what it is. But it's going to be real interesting to see what happens at the end of the season. Like, I don't know if he's deserved another shot next year to be the offensive coordinator or do the play calling. And so we'll see, but something's got to improve. Like, I can't be the only one that is fed up with these wide receiver screens and these runs by Jalen Hurts. I feel like wide receiver screens and the Jalen Hurts runs are a third of the offense by themselves. Like it's 33% Jalen Hurts runs, 33% wide receiver screens, and then the other 33% of the play calling are like the other plays, and those plays are all poorly timed. Going for a deep ball to I'm so angry. I'm so heated. I forgot his name. It doesn't. You know what? It doesn't matter. I was gonna get mad at Jalen Hurts for throwing that interception at the end of the Seahawks game when they had the lead in the fourth quarter. I forget who was throwing the ball to, and now this is driving me insane. It was who did Jalen Hurts throw that pass to? Eagles. This is embarrassing. Sorry, everybody. It was it Zacchaeus? It wasn't Zacchaeus. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, the point is the play calling has sucked, in my opinion. He seems like a kid you play in Madden who only knows about like 5 to 10 plays in the playbook. So they just recycle the same plays over and over and over again. And he never learns new plays. That's what Brian Johnson is, because he isn't really doing anything new week over week. I think he's just become very predictable. And that's why it's part of the reason why the Eagles have had such difficulties closing out games, putting teams away, creating separation. By the end of the game, it seems to me that the other team kind of knows what's coming. And that's why the offense really struggles. Thanks to everyone who is joining me. Wookie Cookie, love that name. I appreciate it. If you're just joining us, this is the Ben Caplan Show, episode number 6. I do these shows daily here on TikTok, and I post replays to my YouTube channel. So please make sure you'll follow me here on TikTok, and you click the link in my bio to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to over my list of reasons why the Eagles have been so frustrating this year. ESPN put out a TikTok today, and they list they listed the most frustrating team in the NFL. They had the Eagles listed as number one, and I don't disagree with them. I don't care if that's me being bratty because we have 11 wins. The Eagles have been incredibly frustrating all year long. So I thought to myself, why? Why have the Eagles been so frustrating this year? So I put this list together. First, high expectations. I said we all have astronomically high expectations for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. For most of us, I feel like the only satisfying end to the season would be the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. And that is so incredibly hard to do. It's only happened 14% of the time. Actually, that's wrong. It's only 8 times has the Super Bowl loser ever gone back to the Super Bowl the following season. 14% of the time that has happened in the history of the NFL. So already the odds were not stacked in our favor coming into this season. But we had high expectations anyway. We didn't care. We were going back to the Super Bowl. So because we have those high expectations, whenever they look like a team that's not really, they don't look like a Super Bowl team, we get really upset because it makes us worried. It gets us scared because we're not lowering our expectations. That's for sure. The second reason, the wins haven't been convincing. You know, it's hard to say like how many good wins the Eagles have. I went through the schedule a little earlier to see, to go over their wins and losses, and their best win maybe against Tampa. They won 25-11 in Week 3. I mean, the Buffalo win was a really good win. It's an exciting win in overtime, but I don't know. There really just haven't been many convincing wins this season. So it's like when we look back on the wins, on the 11 times they've won, there's nothing we can point our finger to and be like, yeah, they really dominated that game, or yeah, this is, they really controlled from start to finish. Got some chats here. All of them are good wins. Francis, I love the enthusiasm. A win is a win is a win. Especially in the NFL where wins are so hard to come by. It's just, I'm not saying style points matter, but you would like to see the Eagles win a little more convincingly and look like a more complete team. I don't think the Eagles have looked like a complete team for an entire game this entire season. So that's why when they do win, there always seems to be but this was really bad, or this guy dropped a pass, so they got kind of lucky, or this dude stepped out of bounds. So there hasn't been that one game from start to finish where the Eagles have just controlled everything, took the lead, got separation, and by the fourth quarter, was putting it away. They've all seemed to come down to the last couple of drives of the game. So, just again, that's the reason why they've been so frustrating. I get it. Yeah. KV, Tampa Bay is a playoff team. They're fighting for the playoffs, so it is a good win, but I don't know. Is that their best win? We'll see. So anyway, the other reasons were all their losses were bad losses. By the same token, what I was talking about in the comment section, all losses are bad losses, but you're talking about 2 blowout losses, one to the 49ers at home and one to your rival, the Cowboys, both on national TV, by the way. So just it really made you have to reevaluate how we're looking at this Eagles season, because the Cowboys, the 49ers, they are the top competitors in the NFC. Like if the Eagles want to go back to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to go through the 49ers again. So the first time they didn't look so good. And so that really scares us all and frustrates us all, because we want them to be at that level, that top tier level. And they had 2 opportunities to prove it, and they fell flat on their face both times. And then looking at the other 2 losses, again, I know all losses are bad losses, but those are both games. They had leads in the fourth quarter where if they could just get 1 first down, the Eagles can put the game away. And both times they failed to do it. Against the Jets, the Eagles needed a first down late in the fourth quarter. But what happened? Jalen Hurts threw an interception. The Jets scored a late touchdown. Fast forward to the Seahawks. What do the Eagles have to do late in the fourth quarter? Get a first down. And you know what? They couldn't do it. What happens? They have to punt. And then Drew freaking Lock drives 92 yards down the field to win the game for the Seahawks. And I think a reason why they're not able to close out games is because they become so predictable towards the ends of games. And that goes along with the next point, which was the offensive play calling of Brian Johnson. I think It's very vanilla. It's very predictable. And teams by the end of football games are realizing what he's going to do in particular situations. I'm also really sick of the wide receiver screens and the Jalen Hurts runs. I feel like 33% of the offense is wide receiver screens. Another 33% of the offense is runs with Jalen Hurts. And the other 33% is, just like all the other plays. All the poorly timed plays are that other 33%. So the offensive play calling has been bad. And, but hey, it's not all Brian Johnson's fault. Why the Eagles are in the situation that they are and why we all feel so negative and so frustrated about the Eagles. Because my next point was Jalen Hurts turnovers. Jalen Hurts only had 8 turnovers all of last year, 6 interceptions and 2 fumbles lost. This year, he's already at 18. He's got 13 interceptions and 5 fumbles lost. And his interceptions, a few of them are coming at really, really bad times. So all reasons, and I think good reasons, no one has seemed to disagree with me yet, why the Eagles have been so frustrating and why there's so much negativity about the Eagles this season. So here we go. So from Francis, sorry, I'm going through the comments right now. We got a comment from Francis. So we are on the cusp of being a possible 13-win season, and we hate it. We don't hate it. And I know we're being bratty. Our problems is, we might not get the first round bye. That's the Philadelphia Eagles problem, in the grand scheme of things for the season so far. But something seems off. The Eagles just don't seem right. And there's lots of reasons why it's been so frustrating. And it sounds crazy. I know the Eagles have a really good chance to win 13 games this year. If your team is winning 13 games, you should be talking Super Bowl. You should be talking how much your flight is going to cost and how much tickets are going to cost to go into the Super Bowl. But because of the list I just went through, the bad play calling, the really bad losses against top NFC contenders, Jalen Hurts turnovers, the Eagles' inability to put teams away, they're cause for concern. And, if the Eagles, let's say the Eagles have a lead late in a playoff game, are they going to be able to put that game away and ice the game so Jalen Hurts can take a knee? They've had a really hard time doing that this season, especially as of late. I mean, they had a chance against the Giants to put the game away. All they needed was a first down and the game is over, and they couldn't get the first down because I think Brian Johnson's play calling is predictable. There we go. But I hear what you were saying. Excuse me. Thank you, Francis. Appreciate it. If anybody else has any more comments or questions, let me know. I love interacting with people. And thank you all for watching the Ben Caplan Show. Do the show live here every day on TikTok. So make sure you please follow me here and then click that link in my bio and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay on top of all my new episodes and videos. Go Birds. That's right. I mean, despite all the frustration, despite all the anger, we still love them. I'm not going to stop rooting for them. Of course not. But it's just, these are the reasons. And if no one has told me I'm wrong yet. And I got one more reason about why the Eagles have been so frustrating. And this is last, especially not least, but it might be fitting that it's last because it's just the defense. It is overall, the defense has been so bad this year, so bad. And I know there's been a lot of injuries. They're down Avonte Maddox. They're down Darius Slay for the rest of the regular season. Hopefully they get him back in playoffs. Their linebacker, every week there seems to be new injuries to the linebackers. So I know those are injuries. I know they lost a lot of guys from last season, but the Eagles defense is just bad. And it does not look like a Super Bowl winning, a championship contending defense. Currently, the Eagles are 26th in passing yards allowed, 25th in points per game, and overall points allowed. They're 30th on third down defense. Teams are converting 46.41% of the time on third down against the Eagles. And I don't know what you do about that. I think that's a mental thing at this point. Right? Because it's, how is your play calling going to change? If you have a plan for your play calling, how is it going to be any different from first to second to third? So I just think that's a mental thing. Defense has been really bad. And again, they let Drew Lock drive 92 yards down the field to win a game. for the Seahawks. I don't know. It's going to take me a long time to get over that. That's just going to be one of those things, I think, that my wife's going to have to put up with me just complaining about for a long period of time. KV, third downs are painful. Yeah, third downs have been painful this year. It's really, really frustrating, which is the point of this list, that they can't get off the field on third down. And again, late in games, if you can't get off the field on third down, it's going to bite you in the playoffs. Like, it's the Eagles' inability or just struggle to close games this season. I can correlate it so much to the Phillies from this past season, because they had such problems finishing out games. Kimbrel was a roller coaster all year, but it wasn't just him. The entire bullpen really was shaky. And I was saying, time over time, if they're having these problems, it's going to bite them in the playoffs. And it surely did. And I'm seeing the same thing with the Eagles here. If the Eagles can't get off the field on third down, if the Eagles can't convert third downs late in games, it is going to cost them a game in the playoffs. And, you think we're miserable now. That is nothing. Just wait till you see this city after we lose a playoff game. So lots and lots to be frustrated about for this for this year's 2023 Eagles. Excuse me one second. Bill can't get over Kimbrel, just insane as a professional pitcher. Yeah, that sucked, man. And here's the thing too about Kimbrel, and trust me, I'm not letting him off the hook here, but I think in games 3 and 4 of the NLCS, Kimbrel was so mismanaged. He was put in situations he is not familiar. And I think it was Rob Thompson has to take a lot of blame for that. In game 4, if you remember, they brought him in a tied game. He should not be coming into that game. If Craig Kimbrel is going to be your closer, you need him to, when you get the lead in extra innings, to put the game away. They brought him in a tied game, and it cost him. Then, in game 4, they brought him in the 8th inning. Did not like it. They tried to flip-flop him and Alvarado, and again, bit him in the ass. So, sorry, didn't mean to go on a Craig Kimbrel rant or a Rob Thompson or Phillies rant. As you can tell, I'm still really upset by the NLCS. I don't know if I'll be getting over that for a very long time. I put it up there with one of the all-time great Philadelphia losses. It is just a brutal, brutal loss. I feel like Kimbrel should only be brought in a non-safe situation. I'm talking like a 3+ run lead. Yeah, well, maybe. But hey, he's not the Phillies' problem anymore. He's signed with Baltimore. But hey, I wish him the best luck. I don't wish him any ill will. I know he was trying his hardest, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out. I agree. Rob made many questionable decisions in the postseason and in the regular season. Yeah. I think Rob Thompson, should take a lot of the blame for some of his decisions with the bullpen. And I put mismanaging Craig Kimbrel right at the top of the list for reasons the NLCS turned out the way it did. There are a lot of other reasons, don't get me wrong, but you put that right up there. But anyway, thank you for joining me. If you're just joining us, this is the Ben Caplan Show, episode 6 of the Ben Caplan Show, my new Philly sports talk show. I do the show daily, live here on TikTok, and then I post the replays to my YouTube channel. So please make sure you follow me here, and you go click the link in my bio, and you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all my episodes and videos. Going to be getting out of here in just a minute. So real quick, I'm going to recap everything we went over today. Just the main topic was, why are the Eagles so frustrating this year? One was their high expectations. We all had really high expectations, and anything less than winning a Super Bowl is not going to be enough for a lot of people in this fan base. Two, the wins the Eagles do have, all 11 of them, which is a lot, aren't really convincing. They've had a couple good wins here or there, but it seems that every time the Eagles won a game this year, it's come with a yeah, but. So no convincing wins. I'm not going to say no, but just not a lot. 3, the losses they've had have all been really bad. 2, just blowouts by top NFC contenders, which you really hate to see because you want to believe the Eagles can contend with the top teams in the conference. But after the way they lost to the 49ers and the Cowboys, it really made you reevaluate if that was the case. And then the 2 losses to the Jets and Seahawks. Both teams with losing records at the time, where the Eagles had a lead in the 4th quarter and a chance to put the game away, where all they had to do was get a first down and they couldn't get a first down, and both times they lost the game. So just two really atrocious losses there. The next was the Jalen Hurts turnovers. He has 18 this year, 13 interceptions, 5 fumbles lost, and just some come at the worst possible time, like that Jets game, like the Seahawks game. Followed that up by the offensive play calling of Brian Johnson. I am so sick of the wide receiver screens. I am sick of all the Jalen Hurts runs. I think he's going to get him killed one of these days. Every time there is a run with Jalen Hurts, I hold my breath. It's just, if they keep running him like that, it's only a matter of time. You know, I keep looking at a guy like Lamar Jackson who keeps going down to injuries. I mean, this year he's been able to stay healthy. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy the rest of the way. But, you know, it scares me. So the play calling has been vanilla and I think predictable. And I think part of the reason why they're not able to put games away and get first downs at the end of the game is because Brian Johnson has become predictable and teams have a good idea of what's about to come and they're able to stop the Eagles. And then last but definitely not least, just the defense. The defense has been atrocious. 26th in the league in passing yards allowed, 25th in points per game and overall points allowed. They're 30th on third down defense, meaning teams have converted 46.41% of the time against the Eagles this season. So just really, the defense overall does not look like a Super Bowl contending, a Super Bowl winning defense. But that's remained to be seen because there's still 2 weeks left in the season and we still got the playoffs to look forward to. But anyway, that is going to do it for me today. I'll be back at things tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern, so please make sure you join me there. If you haven't done so already, like and follow my videos here. Like and follow me here on TikTok. Please click that link in my bio and subscribe to my YouTube channel and like those videos there. I appreciate everyone who tuned into the Ben Caplan Show today or who was watching on YouTube. And thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.